What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer doing that deck profile and a little more bonus gameplay for this based or pile deck or synchro deck. I don't really know what you want to call it. Features ice barriers, deep sea diva, a whole list of cards. But the idea is that you're going into Halq for this 3 negate combo, which usually ends in a little more disruption. With the punk stuff, you get an infinite impermanence search from the deck. With Deep Sea Diva, you get the 3 Omni negates, plus you get 2 cards ripped from your opponent's hand, and a few other that just straight up produce 3. And then there's also another combo with Ice Barriers that's a little bit flexible. And the first duel I'll show you after I do the deck profile, you'll really see quite literally the full range of what this deck can do. But we'll go ahead and get into the card by card. This is 60 cards, but I will start first with the crossout designator targets. So Nibiru, Ash Blossom, Ghost Ogre, Token Collector, Droll and Lockbird, Effect Veiler, Infinite Impermanence, and Forbidden Droplets. Now technically you could also put Dark World no more into this category. Forbidden Droplets is like really interesting, or I should say crossout is also interesting for a few other reasons. Dark World of More being one of those. If your opponent has it, definitely a great way to respond to that. Also, Illusion of Chaos, of course, is a very popular card, as well as Magician's Souls. So, pretty cool. Token Collector is especially important in this deck. There's also some really cool things you can do with it as well, and you will see that during the first duel. Going on into the, let's call this Deep Sea Diva package, Moulin Glacier, although plenty of synergy between like Atlantean Dragoons and the Mirror Master of the Ice Barrier. Lots of really cool stuff that you can do there. So the 1 Moulin Glacier, the 3 Atlantean Dragoons, which you definitely need to play 3 of, because if you open one and you only need to play 2, it's kind of a brick. Because if you need to be able to send 2 and search the other one. With the Atlantean Prince. Kind of interesting interaction. But like I said, this card is great with Mirror because this card needs to be triggered by a water monster, and obviously that's a water monster. Meaning that if you go through your lines here that I do with Revealer and Vessel, you also get to discard 2 at the end of it, which is really sick, honestly. Doesn't happen too often because the card, you're playing 60 cards, but it has happened enough for me. And also, like I said, you can't have this at 2 because if you draw one, it's just basically a Garnet, and you don't want Garnets in your deck. Deep Sea Minstrel, this card is just part of the combo. Really good, though. Pretty good if in very particular hands too. Maybe you don't have the Deep Sea Diva combo, but being able to discard a card and look at your opponent's hand is like almost an invaluable resource, meaning that you'll pretty much know when you need to interact with your opponent. Atlantean Prince is also here. Atlantean Prince is like fairly interesting because of the addition of Magician's Souls. Normally this card's really bricky, but if you were to normal summon this and then special summon here, it's almost as if Deep Sea Diva is like, it does the exact same thing, which I think is good to maximize the value of the cards, even if it isn't just very niche situations. 3 copies of Deep Sea Diva. This is the best play starter in the entire deck, obviously. Because you're able to get 3 Omnis and discard 2 cards from your opponent's hand. And if they're monsters, they're banished as well. So your opponent really isn't going to get any advantage from it at all. Some decks may have from discard fodder, at least when it comes to monsters. Really good. 3 Revealer of the Ice Barrier, 3 Speaker of the Ice Barrier. If only this card said if you control a water monster, not an Ice Barrier monster. That's obviously very unfortunate, but what are you going to do? It's necessary. This card's very, very good. Ice Barriers are close to being good. I don't know how close it is, but if they just get another wave, so basically, essentially when these new cards came out, maybe it wasn't a structure deck. Now I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure it was. I think it won a contest, and I think it did get its own structure deck. I think I bought it too. But the new wave is like, the new cards are good, and like, make no mistake, not all of them, but these 3 cards in particular, especially Frost Spirit or Hexa Spirit, excuse me. This card is especially insane because it does Foolish Burial Monster, which is important for the combo. I send Warlock, but just imagine if there's any good cards, like any Ice Barrier cards that have effects that trigger once sent to the graveyard, then you're talking about something pretty interesting. Now, I don't think Ice Barriers will ever be a tier 1 meta threat, but not too important. This card is good along with all the other ones. And then Warlock, it's a level 3. That's the most important thing that you need to know about this card. Being a level 3 is super important. Also, this card is like mega niche, right? It could be good against Sky Strikers, but it's just the best technical option to play. It's also kind of a Garnet, but luckily you have plenty of ways to shuffle cards back into your deck that you don't want, like Plague Spreader Zombie, like Illusion of Chaos. That goes along with Penguin Soldier, although this card is sneaky good. That's probably the best way I'll put it. Sometimes you're able to go through your Halq combos without even normal summoning, which is kind of interesting. So Penguin Soldier can also be decent, but more than likely not, it's something that you're probably going to want to shuffle back with Illusion of Chaos. 3 of the Foxy 2, and I used to run Prod of Prosperity, but you really need every single card in your extra deck for this deck to be playable. So Foxy Tune is actually able to get you a bunch of advantage, and a lot of the times helps you go into Halq without normal summoning, which is super important. The Z-Amin is also kind of the same idea. They're all searching each other, except for Madam Spider, obviously. But this card's also pretty decent in this deck, too, because of the addition of Magician Souls, which really isn't used at all for its draw effect. More importantly, it's just a free body, because if you were to normal summon this, add the Punk Trap, and then special summon your Magician Souls, it's as if you searched it with Z-Amin in the first place. And again, like I said, Magician Souls goes like that way for a lot of different strategies, or a lot of different engines when it comes into this deck. Kind of putting everything together. Plague Spreader, if you draw the Cult Wing, that's definitely pretty much the only way you're going to get it back in the deck other than Illusion of Chaos. So that's also the advantage of this card being 60, because I used to play this Ice Barrier deck, which is really the only thing that this is. The extra deck hasn't changed at all. It's really just the main deck. The more cards you have, the less likely you are to draw this. So that's certainly the idea behind that. Creation Resonator is part of your combos. Not something you technically want to see in your hand, but not the end of the world either. Despot 001, same situation. If you kind of like, I wish I wouldn't have drawn it, but not a big deal. Again, and the advantage of playing 60 cards, you're going to see these just less often. 3 Magician Souls, 3 Illusion of Chaos, great extenders. 3 Dark World no more. It's like I've talked about before. It's a decent crossout designator target, but more importantly, you need big blowout cards going second. Now you're probably going to draw into one of these, like maybe crossout designator. Like if you're going first, you don't want to see any of them in case your opponent has it in their hand, which would be really unlucky. But you need big blowout cards to just, if you want to play going second, because very linear combos in this deck. This is not the most complicated thing in the world, outside of a few niche plays, but all the combos, which is essentially 2 of them, go to the same place, and you do the same thing. And there's these really big choke points, like Christian Halley Fibrax. So this kind of gives you that opportunity, and I think this is a format right now that's actually pretty decent, where people are playing less Sword Soul, meaning that they have black, like less people are playing Blackout at the moment. People are playing the Adventure Token stuff. People are playing Phoenix, and this just kind of deals with a lot of that with one card, which is extremely important. 3 Medallion of the Ice Barrier is pretty cool. A non-once per turn searcher for your Ice Barrier monsters. Helps you hopefully draw into your combo. Preparation of Rites. It's just this is a 60 card deck. You could technically 59, but it's one more searcher for Illusion of Chaos, which is kind of cool. Now, if Called by the Grave was at more than one, of course, I would replace that in a heartbeat because of the combo-oriented nature of this deck. 3 Crossout Designator, like I'm talking about a lot. 3 Emergency Teleport, and then that's the Punk Trap. So when it comes to play starters, you have like straight up 1 card play starters. You have 3 here. This makes 6. This makes 9. This makes 12. But it's really, and then there's 15. So 15 1 card play starters, but in reality there's a lot more. I've bricked 1 time, and I think I've played roughly 10 matches of this deck, so consistency is not going to be a problem. In fact, you may want to replace some of your play starters and put more hand traps in there. I don't know, but I'm pretty happy with the ratios that I have here, no matter how awkward they kind of are. Okay, so we're going into the extra deck. Trishula, 0 Dragon of the Ice Barrier. This card is the MVP of the deck. You will see that in the first duel, and surprisingly, you can make this during your opponent's turn. And I'll show you guys exactly how to do that coming up here in just a second. But being able to non-targeting banish cards is just about as good as it could possibly get. This gets out of like Dragoon. This deals with Phoenix Enforcer if it's a possibility for you. Just so many good things. I don't play like normal Trishula. Maybe you want to. Basically, what it comes down to is, do you want to play an extra copy of Halley Firebax? For me, it's no question. Absolutely, yes, you want to do that. But if you're a risk taker, maybe you don't want to. But yeah. The Baron de Fleur, this is pretty standard stuff. Borreload, Savage Dragon, all part of your Halq combo. Shooting Riser Dragon really is kind of crazy for a multitude of reasons. You'll see Penguin Brave. This is like I think this is my favorite card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Not gonna lie, I love this art. Unfortunately for me, like I don't think the new Penguin support's very good. But this card is the bee's knees. I kind of want to get this card like tattooed on me somewhere, but maybe for another day. Desert Lotus, making your opponent discard one card, super underrated in terms of card advantage. Herald of Arclight, this card's really, really cool because when you use its Omni Negate effect, you do get the illusion of chaos to hand, which is really just a +1 and potentially a lot more. Borreload Savage Dragon, you're at least going to get to draw one, right? Because once this effect goes off, you still get those Boral counters. Now, when you send that to the graveyard to draw, with your Magician's Souls, you do lose the attack boost, but you don't lose the Omni Negate, which is probably a little more important. Cupid Pitch, this card's really, really cool. I love this. I love cards kind of like this. I don't think... Hopefully it doesn't ever catch the ban list, but it is super powerful. It's able to level manipulate, which is crazy. It's able to search a monster, any monster, level 8 or lower with 600 defense. I imagine that's only going to get better with time, and it's already very good. Bahamut Shark plus totally awesome. Always pretty cool stuff. Just another Omni Negate available to you. Becca Phantom Beast Auroradon. This is a card I could also see one day going to the ban list. 3 tokens is just a little too good for synchro summoning, but for the time being, go ahead and use it. Marincess Coral Anemone. This is part of an Ice Barrier combo, and like I've talked about, 2 Halifibrax. There's 2 different lines for this, and also if your first one gets negated, like you kind of want to have a chance to play Yu-Gi-Oh! During your next turn. This is like really the funnel of where all of your plays go through. And then the one Salmorate Almirage, because you need a normal summon Plague Spreader Zombie and get it off the field, and that's one way to do it. The side deck isn't too important. These are the cards I say are necessities. And then the other spots I'll talk about. So 2 more Nibiru, of course. This card's just really high impact. D-Shifter, in case you're playing Flu Under Ease, you obviously have to have that, but it's not a card you want to main deck because you're not going to play Flu Under Ease every single time. Lightning Storm, for those back row decks, I think this card's a little more relevant now, and I saw that it's going to get a reprint in the Megatins, which is pretty decent. 3 Cosmic Cyclone, and that's pretty much where the side deck, I feel like those are the cards that are necessities at the moment. And then these are kind of tech cards in case you don't want to play an extra Halifibrax. Shen can be made during your opponent's turn if you do go through the Ice Barrier combo, because Shooting Riser essentially makes anything possible. So if you want to decrease the level and combine it with your Penguin Brave, you can go into Shen, which isn't terrible, I suppose. And then Math Deck Final Sigma is kind of like the poster child, the original combo when it comes to Penguin Soldier. You're going to combine that with the Penguin Brave. And it's unaffected by monster effects. Only 3k attack, so really, not too important for me. I'm pretty happy with where it's at. But like I said, if you're feeling a little lucky, you can definitely drop one of these. We'll go ahead and go into the replays here. And I will start with my favorite one because pretty much everything goes off here. So this is an interesting point. So this is game 2, or I should say game 3. I won game 1. I'll show that one. Going here into the next game, I knew my opponent was playing Trickstar. Now, I'm going to have a good combo either way, and hopefully it's enough to win, but I'm thinking, do I want to hold the Imperm or the Cyclone? Now, here's the thing. When I finish these plays, like I'm going to have an extra... I'm going to have a way to get a tuner back to my hand. I mean, I can probably go through my regular Halq plays when this is all said and done. But now it's not exactly a possibility because Creation Resonator is now in the graveyard, and it's kind of an essential piece. I decided to keep the Imperm for an extra form of interaction, thinking it may be the difference between me winning and losing, but we'll see. So he's going to go ahead and go here, and I decided in Cosmic Cyclone, of course, because it's just kind of a necessity. I'll go ahead and get rid of the first Mystic Mine, and of course he has the second one, which is kind of funny. I'll go ahead and negate, and I'll take it. I mean, sure, why not? You never know if I'll need Mystic Mine, but probably don't. I don't know if he has an out for it. And, okay, so this is where the crazy combo starts. Now, I'm playing into, like, this play specifically for a very, like, particular reason. Now, I know when he normal summons Candina that he's going to go ahead and search the Lyrisk. The Licorice. Is that what it's called? I think Licorice. Meaning that he's going to be able to avoid this effect to bounce. But that's okay to me because I get to do some really cool stuff here now. So I'm going to attempt to bounce that, knowing I'm going to do this. And I get to do some really cool stuff. So when it comes to meta implications, this is a little more important. Because I get to send a level 4, and that can be Token Collector. Now, if you're playing against the Adventure Token, you know why that's pretty good. Now, if I knew I was playing against Brave Token, I would have shotgunned the Halq Fibrax. Because there's a couple of things. I could have gone to the Desert Lotus, and then I could have gone into Borreload Savage Dragon after this was popped up. Which is really kind of the different play. But if I'm playing against Adventure, I know they're using tokens. And then Token Collector, of course, would just be huge. So I'm going to be able to go into a big synchro here in just a second, but having Token Collector is kind of crazy. Maybe not in this duel, but yeah, I can go into Trishula during his turn, which means I'm going to banish 3 cards during his turn. Now, when I used Totally Awesome, I was able to add the Minstrel back to my hand, going into my regular combos. Top decking Despot 001 is kind of funny at best, but okay, so this is like weird, right? Because this is where the problem comes in reality, but I can only go into a flurry. Normally this would be 3 Omni Negates. It's just a 1 plus the pop. So obviously it's just decent. But I'm going to be able to destroy that back one. I don't know if I should have waited till the next turn necessarily. I'm not guaranteed to draw another card. I don't really know what that back row is anyways. I mean, how good could it have been because he was holding it so long? I don't know. It may have been a misplay by me, but I'm going to go ahead and pop that card, go for the battle phase, and then he's... I thought this said to add it back to your hand. Reading's hard, but that's okay. He's gonna have to top deck something pretty darn good, and then he can just let time run out, I guess, because he lost. But interestingly enough, but that was a really large range of what the deck can do, essentially everything. This would have been decent going second, but okay, he's got evenly matched, which is pretty much the only thing I think he's going to be able to use here. But I do have the full combo, so 3 Omni Negates plus Imperm. Is probably going to win me this duel because his only going second card is the evenly matched, and that's fine. This combo is really standard. I've been using it for such a long time now, but the Punk was like a late addition to this kind of deck, and it looks like it's kind of random, but it obviously you can see that it works pretty well. And more than anything, it's just everything to go through this line to make it as consistent as humanly possible. Because 3 Omni Negates, believe it or not, is quite good. Cool enough too. Eldritch, like this is like a really, like this card in particular is very good against Eldritch. I'm gonna go ahead and negate there. Still have 2 Omni Negates. I'm gonna go ahead and negate that, and then Herald can search me, my Illusion of Chaos. Why he didn't activate evenly matched, I don't know. To use my last Omni, I'm gonna go ahead and pop that Solemn Judgment. He's going to negate the Foxy tune. I was hoping to go into like a tuner. Doesn't really matter though at the end of the day. And I can draw a couple cards. I can pop the Magician and then go to the battle, meaning this is the end of the duel. It really wouldn't have mattered because I never ended up using the Omni Negate for this, but I think he still should have activated evenly matched. Kind of weird. Okay, we'll go into everything else now. This is Tri-Brigade, pure Tri-Brigade, kind of cool. So he's going to go ahead and negate the Kit. Kit is going to send a Nerval. Nerval's going to search. Stop me if you've seen that one before. But I like this because it is pure Tri-Brigade. I think that's pretty neat. No going second cards, but a lot of gas. I definitely am going to be able to go into the Halq combo, and if he, without normal summoning, which is super duper important. A little bit of the older list, this is like Foxy 2 normally, so doesn't make the biggest difference in the world. But this kind of, I think this was maybe one of the duels that made me realize just how valuable this was. I do run 1 Ghost Ogre, so this is going to be a fairly interesting interaction here because he just shotguns the Revolt, which is great for me, but he's gonna use like anything, and I was hoping like I was gonna be able to destroy something. I'm gonna go ahead and use the Called by the Grave there. I'm gonna try to destroy the Rugal, but I mean, 2 cards, right? The Emergency Teleport plus Called by essentially used all of his interaction for the turn. So it's like, if that's the situation I find myself in, then that's fine. I'm going to draw 3 here. I think I end up going into Atlantean, and I do mess up here. So I should be able to activate Moon Glacia, and I just end up messing it up. So this would normally be, normally I would be discarding Revolt, but I played this completely wrong. He's going to go ahead and get a Fractal from the deck. That's fine. 3K attack's actually kind of wonky to get around, but we'll see what I end up doing here. This is not my best performance, right? Because Moon Glacia definitely should have been used earlier. It didn't. What are you going to do? And I just kind of have to go through it. So he's going to protect his kid. I'm going to go ahead and use his Nerval there. I think he's gone through 2. Oh, I guess just 1 nerve also. Kind of interesting. And I got out of the replay. Dang it. I did not mean to click that. Interesting. Okay. Let me pause this and see if I can just go fast as heck. Sorry about that. So, like I said, Mooling Glacier definitely should have been used. I don't even know if this is faster than regularly playing it, but we'll see here. This is like a really interesting tech card, by the way. The Pepro Separus. Never really seen anybody use it, but it does... If they take battle damage, I guess if you take damage by battle or an opponent's card effect, you get to target a card on the field, destroy it. So it's kind of like Wind Pegasus, I guess. You know, in a way. There we go. He's going to chain all of this, use all of his interaction. Just kind of curious to see how this ends at this point. I think it's probably pretty standard, although I'm pretty sure I do go into my Ice Barrier stuff. So I did want to show that. And like I said, I thought like this is whatever this is going to be is going to get banished anyway. So I might as well be a Ghost Ogre. Kind of crazy, I guess, you know, that he did have like an Oath, but it is a pure Tri-Brigade deck, so I guess that's probably pretty expected. Don't know what else he's playing in there. Kind of interesting to see a 50 card Tri-Brigade, but okay. And I think I can just play it. This is about where I was. Alright, Medallion of the Ice Barrier. I can go ahead, activate Product Prosperity. Should have been a Foxy Tune. Doesn't make much of a difference. Although I guess in this case it's like better, you know, than Foxy Tune, but that's fine. Miko can go ahead and special summon itself. I can dump that. I can go through my full combo, so I'm going to at least be able to get Penguin Soldier from my deck, which is going to come in handy when it comes to this deck. And I do have the Omni Negate there for the Revolt. Shouldn't be in his hand anyways, but what are you going to do? Misplays, misplays, misplays. I'm going to be able to get through most of his board here. I was hoping to clear all of his small monsters, leaving only the Shurag, but... Beggars certainly can't be choosers. He top decks a Revolt, which really is kind of unfortunate, but he is forced to discard one of them. And we'll see what happens from there. He's going to purposely, you know, bounce into the Totally Awesome. I guess I might as well negate. Doesn't really do anything. Although the negate, I know, I think it's when it's sent to the graveyard. It didn't matter. It was literally just, it made no difference. I'm going to go ahead and pop the Omen back in there. I can go into a Fleur. He waited a little too long to activate the Revolt. I will go ahead and negate that. And I think he just surrendered after that. So kind of interesting that Desert Lotus plus Atlantean Dragoons. Like I said, a lot of weird incidental synergy, you know, in this deck all around. This is Mermill, and I have a pretty decent opening. Never really that fun to open, you know, the trap here, but certainly okay. I'm going to go ahead and keep Penguin Soldier here in my hand. Go through the regular line of plays, which... Playing against Mermill, I imagine 3 Omni Negates is probably going to always stop them from playing the game. And Mecha Phantom Beast can go ahead and come down. That's going to trigger the Despot 001. I can go into the Borreload Savage Dragon, triggering Cupid Pitch to assert Resonator. Resonator can special summon itself, go into the Fleur, and then finally the Herald of Arclight. And then I did set the Penguin Soldier. I think I talked about this during the deck profile. Kind of funny. He is forced to go into your battle phase, and more than anything, that's actually pretty decent effect because it's really hard for your opponent to clean up stuff. He's going to go strictly neg-2 there. I never really want to pass up the opportunity for that and can't really do anything else. And I still have a little bit of interaction. And last but not least, Hero. And this is where Crossout Designator really comes in handy. That's why I play that one of Forbidden Droplets because, well, we'll see what ends up happening here. I think really part of his big mistake was not activating it when he activated Reinforcement of the Army. But this is also, I think, where Herald of Arclight makes a big splash because when your opponent polys from their hand, they're banishing all the materials, which in a lot of cases against Hero is really, really, really important. But there goes the Borreload Savage Dragon. For some reason, I just knew he was playing this. And I think this deck, I think if you're just playing hand traps, Crossout Designator kind of stinks. But in this case, when you get the full value out of it, I think it makes a big, big difference. Now, why he didn't activate Forbidden Droplets here, I don't really know, but that's on him. Mass Change, that's fine because the Wind one is just aight. Going to use the effect there, you know, to try to pop that. I'll negate there because, well, here's the thing. If I don't negate this, like, he's just going to attack over it anyway, so I might as well have him have one less body. But in response, he's going to try to get rid of his entire hand, use Forbidden Droplets. I will chain with Crossout Designator, essentially ending the duel. I do get the search. Both of these are going to be a draw 2 effect, during that next turn. But the duel's over anyways. But I think those replays really showed the full potential of what this deck can do. I'm pretty happy where it's at. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Other than that, that's going to do it for today's video, and I'll see you guys next time.